What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out a title called Never Mourn. Never heard of this game before. Didn't have it on my radar, but it recently landed in my inbox, so I figured we would take a look at the game here. I've played it for about 2 hours prior to the recording of this video, and I think I have my thoughts together for my first impressions of the game. But Never Mourn is a fast-paced sort of Dynasty Warriors inspired, at least that's what I feel in it. I feel Dynasty Warriors in here. Some people might disagree with me about that, but I feel Dynasty Warriors up inside this piece. But it basically imagines to itself, what if Dynasty Warriors was a game about necromancy? And so in this game, it is a roguelite where you're going to be moving in between nodes, deciding what your bonuses are going to be and what you're going to get for yourself, and whether or not you're going to focus on spells, whether or not you're going to focus on minions, whether or not you're going to focus on your auto attacks or like healing, or what it is that you want to do. And as you go through the game, your necromancer and your minions are going to be getting more powerful until inevitably you get starched by the game getting kind of infinitely more difficult, I guess. I honestly don't know if there's an ending to this game, but I personally have found that sometime around like wave 15 or so, that's when it really starts to fall apart for me. But you're trying to make it as far as humanly possible with your little horde of minions. We're going to take a look at the game for about 25 minutes. We're going to see if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list or if this one's a big old pass for you. Stay tuned. I'll put my condensed thoughts at the end of the video. But for right now, let's dive straight on in. So at a core level, this is a really good idea for a game. I've always felt like Dynasty Warriors is one of those games that is incredibly fertile ground for someone to take and expand. So like, I'm a big Dynasty Warriors fan. There's not very many of us, but I actually like Dynasty Warriors a lot. I like Samurai Warriors even better. I make a concerted effort every few years to buy one of the games and brush up on my Musou. But the thing about Dynasty Warriors is that ultimately it's always too simple. It doesn't have enough bumps and hooks and knobs and customization to really stay the test of time. It's always been kind of one of those games that you play for 20 hours and then never play again. And that's fine every couple of years picking up a sequel or whatever, but I've always felt like there's a really good opportunity for someone to take that formula and add a bunch of stuff to it, or like rogueliteify it or roguelikeify it, and turn it into something really, really special. And that's what this game is actively trying to do. This is a beer and pretzels game. What I mean by that is it's a game that you're meant to play for like 15 or 20 minutes at a time. Although if you get caught up in the core gameplay loop, it's an easy game to get sucked on into. I think I'll probably take my caster minions up by 3 levels right there. It's a very simple game. You'll pick it up very quickly. It does come packaged with a tutorial. Basically, you've got a staff. Your staff has 2 ends to it. It has a scythe. That's your damage dealing side, where you fight and you brawl and you kill enemies and you do all that kind of stuff. You also have hotkeys assigned for when you've got your weapon out. If you press the right click, it will take you into healing and resurrection mode, which will allow you to heal your minions and give you a whole different set of hotkeys that focus entirely on support. This is important because a lot of people have tried, but there's a particular vibe that MMORPGs have that inspires people to be a healer. So I have been a lifelong healer in MMORPGs. I started being a healer because I hated waiting for groups, but I found that playing health bar whack-a-mole was actually something that I really enjoyed, and it ended up becoming sort of like an MMO career for me, where every game that I play a healer. And this game taps into that vibe almost flawlessly, while at the same time allowing you to seamlessly swap in between healing and DPS, which means that when you want to hang back and let your horde run off and deal with the enemies, if they're thick enough, you can just sit in the backfield and throw heals on people and keep them alive and fire off AoEs, and you don't even need to use your DPS if you're focusing on a minion build. However, if you get bored during that process and you're like, alright, I want to wreck some faces, I want to get in here and I want to cleave some asses, you can go straight on in and you can go into DPS mode, and DPS mode also has forms of support in there. After you complete a room, while we're on the subject, you're going to get a number of different things. Sometimes it's leveling up your minions, sometimes it's leveling up the spells that you brought with you, sometimes it's almost like relics, almost items They're not actually items. They call them enchantments in this game, but enchantments go onto your abilities or your creatures and make them do new and interesting things. So, for example, I had one on the last run that made it so every time I resurrect a minion, I get 2 minions instead, which effectively doubled my pop cap, which was really, really nice. Here we have heal over time effects. Will give you damage and damage reduction. We have arcing energies. Whenever you or your army are dealing occult damage, chain lightning strikes 3 nearby enemies, dealing 35% of the total damage. We also have guarding spirits. You gain rebirth charges every 5 seconds, and whenever one of your lesser minions dies, it gets automatically resurrected. I'll probably go with this guy right now because we've got a caster minion. Minions in this game are separated into mooks, basically, which are like the little guys running around and screaming and being all crazy. Or you've got major minions. As you play the game, I told you this was a roguelite, you're getting XP. You can see it in the top right-hand corner of the screen. It's the little shards that are listed underneath the 0. The little shards are what you use to level up in between runs, increasing your damage, increasing the amount of minion cap you have, all that sort of fun stuff as you play through the game. And then the top ones are temporary currency that only exists for the duration of this run that you can spend at culminating shrines. I think like every 7, I don't know, I've got to look. It's like every 10 rooms or so. Bro, did you just smite my minion? How dare you? I'm going to put a little heal on him right there, and then we'll get back on into it. You are going to get a shrine. Not like this shrine. It's called like a portal or something like that every 10 levels or so. And every 10 levels or so, you can spend your big shards on like major things. Like you can level up a whole bunch of your minions. Ow, dude, I got shot in the booty cheek. I hate it. Can I heal my wizard, please? There we go. I need to heal my wizard because I need him to be alive. He's my principal damage dealer right now. He's hanging out in the backfield, just kind of like nuking and dropping all kinds of crazy mayhem on the enemy. And so, like, he's sort of the linchpin of my strategy at the moment. And if he goes, we all go. What did I get from this shrine right here? Greater minions will gain 2 levels. That's pretty good. Lesser minions gain 2 levels. Melee minions gain 2 levels. Let's go with lesser minions. Let's flesh them out a little bit. I don't have exact HP amounts for the lesser minions. The only characters that it cares about are kind of like the greater minions. The lesser minions are sort of like a currency that you exchange with the game in order to keep your greater minions alive. There's our portal. Let's head on into the next area and see what we've got waiting for us. So I guess it's every 7 rooms you get one of these portals right here. I was right on my first guess. Unfortunately, we have no shards. You have to focus on rooms to get shards that give shards, and so you're not going to get them natively just by clearing rooms. I think you should actually get them natively by clearing rooms, probably like 100 or so every time you clear a room, and then the greater rooms should give you like an extra 1,000 on top of that, because I don't think I've ever had the money to spend anything on the first shrine. You do have a dodge. The dodge in this game, it works perfectly fine, but it doesn't look very pretty. The animation's going to need to be redone. Damn, you lit me on fire, huh? It's going to be like that. All right, be careful with dot effects in this game. They are incredibly powerful, and they will cinnamon toast crunch you in the face super hard if you don't actively pay attention to them. I'm going to help out with this wizard over here because he's going to be too much for the mooks to handle. We'll throw a heal right there, throw that on out. We don't have any minions down right now, which in my opinion is a really good thing. Shoot a fireball at him. My fireball stuns any enemy that hits it, which leads to these really cool moments that I've had where one of my major minions has like 10 HP left and he's about to get coup de grace, and then I throw a fireball and I stun the thing that's about to kill him, then fire off a heal real fast. The thing you really need to take into account with this game is that the stuff that matters here feels really, really good. At the end of the video, my thoughts were kind of to talk about there's cheap production values in here, and I think that's the #1 thing that's going to kind of like scare people off, is that the animations are very cheap looking. They do not look well crafted. The death animation is absolutely terrible. You know, the running animation is very slidey and floaty. The attack animation shares that slidiness and that floatiness. The dodge animation looks terrible, but the dodge it gives you is actually perfectly tuned for the amount of distance you need to dodge to avoid most attacks, so I'll give that a pass. But the things that this game does right, it does really right. In the respect that the focus of the game is supposed to be you having a minion horde that's fighting for you. and you seamlessly swapping in between with one-click DPS and healing and firing off all kinds of abilities, that feels really, really good, and in my opinion, the combat feels good enough that you don't really notice that the animations are very slidey and floaty once you actually get into the thick of things. And so this is one of those odd games that I think is tapped into something really, really visceral. It's got something legitimate here underneath the hood that's scratching an itch, but it's not without its problems that are going to need to be sorted out during the course of its early access. I forgot to do my spiel at the beginning of the video, so I'll just do it now. If after watching this video you want to get the game for yourself, it comes out on the 13th, I think, of May of 2024. I always forget to denote the year because I've been in the business for a really, really, really long time, and I've forgotten that sometimes my videos get out of date. And so anyways, I'm going to try to start saying specific dates with the year tacked on as I go forward from here on out, but I might forget. On top of that, you can also find a link to my Discord and my Twitch stream where I frequently stream games like this in long-form format to assuage the people that missed the old LP format from when I first started out as a little baby YouTubity-doobity-er. But back on into it, seamless gameplay is really the thing that this game knocks out of the park. I'm very, very impressed with the way it feels swapping in between DPS and healing, and so I'm willing to forgive the fact that along pretty much all borders, the animation work and the weight of the combat is pretty amateur level, because the core idea of the game is coherent and coming through despite that. At this shrine, we've got ourselves access to some more level ups. I'd probably just go DPS minions since that gets everybody around me. That's kind of like a universal level up right there. I don't know exactly what the 2 meters mean in the top right-hand corner of the screen. I'm guessing some kind of boss or something, but I don't think I've ever actually made it that far to see what happens when the meter caps out. I tend to die pretty spectacularly around where we are right now because, as I mentioned, this is a roguelite. So there is a talent tree that you're going to be given access to in between runs. That talent tree is going to allow you to flatly increase your DPS, increase your healing, your attack speed, your damage. On top of that, there's some more interesting stuff in there. There's one that gives your auto attack bleed, which means you can actually hit guys, kind of fade on out, run away, and they'll continue to take damage from your bleeds. There's other stuff that adds little chain lightning effects, or, oh my god, I dodged at the wrong moment. I mistimed that. Can I heal you? Kind of like, I'm going to heal you, but I want you to be sure to know that I'm healing myself actually. I don't truly care about your safety. You're an undead mook. Like, if you live or die, doesn't really matter. Because you already died once. Who cares? We got like a mage over here. He's going to need to get dropped. Those flamethrower mages can be a big, big problem. Things I would like to see with this title, because the core gameplay loop is actually feeling pretty good. It's going to need more metagame progression. As of right now, I think the skill tree that exists in between the rounds is a little bit too small, but I do think that there's some interesting stuff in there, and I don't... Oh, dude, he killed off my mage. All right, you... die, please. We got to get a major minion up, and we need to get a major minion up about as soon as possible. There's another mage over here. I'm going to resurrect him since all of our levels are in mage right now. We'll get him back up and running, and it looks like we've actually only got a few stragglers left over here that are trying to fight their way on through. Got some shards finally, so that's good. Only like 150 of them, though. Your health meter, every time you take damage to kind of add a little bit more intensity, you get this thing called fatigue. That's the red part of the meter. It's basically health that you can't heal back until you get to a 7, 14, 21 shrine. And that's going to make you have to choose between whether or not you want to use your cash shards to heal yourself and give yourself a chance at not getting one-tapped, or if you want to use it to upgrade your minions and upgrade your spells. Let's get some memory shards off of this one. I haven't really been focusing on memory shards, and I'm beginning to think that may be the actual reason why I never tend to have any currency when I get to that first shrine. Don't get flamethrowered. I was going to say, he's going to try to flamethrower you guys, and I'm going to lose all my minions. Those flamethrower guys are just an absolute headache. We're going to need more level varieties on top of that. I think we're definitely going to need more minion varieties. I've only been playing for a couple of hours, and the game doesn't have Steam Cloud saves, so the time that I was studying for this video was on a different computer. Hitboxes are kind of generous for ranged attacks is one thing that I've noticed. You will take schlappities every now and again from a hit that you feel is illegitimate, but melee attacks feel very highly tuned and very well done. I'm just going to heal myself back up to full real fast. There we go. I've got this guy right here is really being kind of an animal with that spin to win attack. It's becoming a headache. Heal you, put a heal over time on you so that I don't lose you. I just can't lose you, baby. Ow, I saw that one at the last second. That one was a direct hit. That one I can't really complain about. The previous one I felt like was off to the right, but that one right there was stingy. Watch out for the range guys. They do deal a lot of damage when they hit you. I would like to see some indicator put onto the left and right flanks of the screen that indicates a direction that you're being hit from by ranged characters, because it is possible, due to the 3D nature of the game, to be taking fire from directions you can't even see, and there's no mini-map for you to use to see how the enemy is composed around you either. Oh, maybe that's why I never have money to spend. That gave us a lot. Maybe I'll focus on those a little bit more. But as I was saying, I would like to see a directional indicator to avoid hits from... Wow, that pack got obliterated. To avoid hits from off-screen, like a flashing sort of, I guess, time crisis indicator as the enemy's charging up an attack from a direction. That would be a good addition here. But more level varieties, more minion varieties. After 2 hours, I've only seen 1 or 2 new things in the last hour or so. I don't know if that's just because I haven't progressed far enough yet, or because it's not there. I also haven't played around with the monster system. There's a third type of creature you can get that I have not upgraded my account yet to see what exactly a monster does. But there are monsters that you actually start with at the beginning of the game that seem to be big homewrecker type enemies from some of the descriptions that I've seen. Damn, we're getting run up on right now. All right, blast him. Mage, you keep staying in the back. I'll actually probably just let them do the minion thing over here. Like, let them fight for a second, and I'll just stay in the back. There's a big pile of bodies over here, so I feel fairly... Oh, never mind. I don't feel confident anymore. Shoot a fireball at him. It's not going to give us the stun effect on the big dog, but I can help out with the DPS a little bit here. Throw a fireball at him. Is my mage still okay? Mage is getting ran up on. Let's maybe throw a little bit of healing on him. Hit a fireball right there. That big guy is not a monstrosity. That big guy right there, you can just res as a major minion if you've been leveling up tanks. I did it on my last run, though, and he's kind of big, and he kind of gets focus fired a lot, and so he dies pretty quickly. I haven't been a fan of him. My go-to strategy that I've learned over the last couple hours is that you have like one guy like this that nukes for you and just deletes a mob every couple seconds, and then you just have these little guys buffed up and running interference. That seems to be working the best for me right now. We can get 4 levels to Shattering Strike, which adds 36% damage, reduced cooldown, area of effect. I'll take that. That sounds good. I don't know. It does look bigger. It looks quite a bit bigger. Okay, what are we going to get in this next portal? Anything interesting? Oh, we got ourselves an altar. Okay, I'll take an altar. I actually have money to spend this time. Melee minions gain a level. All minions gain 1 level. DPS minions gain 3. We unfortunately can't afford any of the cool enchantments that make your character super badass and, like, unstoppable. I mean, saving up would be good, but let's just go for all level up right there, and then we'll also go for DPS level up right there and melee level up right there. That sounds good. And then just use the remainder to heal off a little bit of my fatigue, I guess. I don't care if we die in this video, because I've got to show you guys the metagame progression anyways. A spell modifier or an enchantment. I'll take an enchantment. The enchantments seem to be really, really meaningful from what I've played so far. That guy came straight out of the gate shooting, dude, like Rambo. Just throwing down on it. We've actually made it much further than I normally make it this time around. Let's heal him back up. I'm going to try to keep the little mooks off of him. Unfortunately. Are we good here? Help out with him. What is that? Oh, that's a new enemy right there. Nice. Apparently, I just needed to get further on into the game, and I guess my progress was stopped because A, I'm bad, and B, because I haven't leveled up my account enough. Is my wizard okay? My wizard's kind of the only person that I care about here. As long as he's okay, I'm happy. He's going to need some minion backup. We'll go ahead and do that for him. He's getting DPS right now, too, so we'll throw some heals on him as well. get the mooks back up and running. Probably go back over to here and see if I can't help out with him a little bit. Burn him to death real fast. I lost my major minion, but what is this guy over here? Can I res him? I want to see what he does. So his arm is like a little staff. All right, that's kind of cool. I think he's a caster minion, so he should be okay out here in these mean streets, I think. So he should be. Is he getting benefits from what I'm doing here? Yeah, he is. He's level 9. So he's getting pretty big boost to what he does. Oh, he puts a shield on me? My man. Okay, I like this guy. This guy's my new best friend. Friendship ended with flamethrower lightning guy. Friendship began with shield guy. We can sow the seeds, so whenever a healer applies a heal over time, it's also applied to every other allied great minion. I only have one, so that's not really going to help out right now. Heal over time effects grant more damage and damage reduction. Yeah, I'll probably go with invigoration. That sounds good. But I may actually throw this run right here because we're getting towards the end of the video, and I think I've actually brought up... Oh, we're about to die anyways. Okay, I need to, like, spam heals on my grader because I feel terrible. I'm all messed up right now. I was gonna throw, and then I almost got obliterated, so, like, that's kind of the same thing as throwing. I can pretend like it was intentional, and nobody will call me out. Does that man have 0 HP and he's still alive? Upsetting. Those little spin-to-win guys can be a problem, too. Basically, anybody with an AoE is going to be a major headache for you and yours. I can't really do a whole lot to him right now. Let's throw another heal on this guy, though, because he's supplying me with shield, which is great. I'm going to get this melee minion out from underneath his booty cheeks, too. But it's a game that's easy to get lost in, because I think it combines that core idea of something like Dynasty Warriors in an effective way with actually a really interesting gameplay hook. And so it's been one of those games that I can forgive the flaws and the floatiness of the whole thing, just due to the fact that I think this is a really good idea. And if they get it polished up, I mean, right now it's definitely playable and enjoyable. It's not a game that's going to stand out the first time you play it. I'll be honest with you, the first time I played for like 20 minutes and then shelved it and was like, I don't know if I'll cover this one. But I came back to it and I started playing it more. And I think some of the elegant design features started to come through. Oh my god. Can I get a heal, please? I'm so wounded. I'm just having a terrible, terrible day. My screen is all red. Everybody's mad at me. I mean, we lived. That's a good start. I'll take it. But let me go ahead and throw here because I want to show you the meta progression. There you go. I threw, and now you can see the wonky death animation. Like I said, I like the core gameplay idea. I think it's fun to play, and that's the most important question with any video game is it fun to play? Yes, I would argue that this game is fun to play despite kind of the wonky animations and the floaty combat, due to the fact that the hot swapping in between healer and DPS works very well and is pretty enjoyable to fool around with. When you go into your play menu over here, you're going to be able to spend talents on this big old talent tree. It's not that big yet. You can get to the end of it pretty quickly. I was trying to get to this one over here where burning enemies take 15% more damage. I do have bleed, though, and I think that maybe boosting up bleed might work better. Let's try bleed. We'll nerf everybody's movement speed when they've got a bleed on them. And then there's going to be some syntax errors in here. The game is not fully translated, I'm guessing. You're going to see a lot of grammatical errors and stuff inside the descriptions. However, they still get the idea across. You get to pick and choose between your spells every time you go into the game on your 1, 2, and 3 key. So, for example, I could swap out Shattering Strike, which was my big nuke in a line, for Eruption. Sends forth a crack in the ground that follows target enemy. When it reaches the target, it explodes. It stuns them, so we can give that a try. Looks like I picked up Entangle, and it looks like I picked up a few other spells in here as well to keep things fresh. I do have a monster, actually, so it looks like this might just allow you to start out. This might just allow you to start out with a heavy minion, I think. But ultimately, this is one of those games that's a mixed bag, but the part of the mixed bag that is good, I think, outweighs the part of the mixed bag that is bad. I hope the part that is bad will get worked on and we'll get some more weight to the combat. We'll get rid of some of that floatiness. However, don't change a thing about hot swapping between forms and firing off spells. That's working great and actually integrates fantastically into kind of a horde brawler game. That works really, really well. Did they give me another minion too? Oh, I can have 7 minions now. Nice, dude. My army is getting more larger. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we were fooling around with a game that kind of came out of nowhere, but I think is playing with a very, very unique idea, and I hope more people will chase this sort of idea down because it's sitting there just ripe for the plucking, and nobody's gone for it yet. And so anyways, my name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, it was Never Mourn. Tomorrow, it will be something else. I will see you all next time. Thanks for hanging out, folks.